There were none of the hitches expected in most quarters, and hoped for in some.
It was many years before the Halle and I were to meet again. A serious difference of opinion with my father led to my leaving his house. I went to London, and for the next 9 years, I neither saw nor heard from my father.
The difference of opinion was over Joseph Beecham's treatment of his wife, which seemed unfeeling, to say the least.
Love and affection and gentle nursing were all that my mother required from my father, but none were forthcoming. One day, mysteriously and without explanation, she disappeared. My father declined to say where she was. So my sister Emily and I set out to look for her. It took us a long time. When we did find her, she was being kept in a private mental institution in Northampton. So we got her out, and she came to live with us in London. And we took care of her.
Having removed her from the asylum, Josephine Beecham's children supported her in her divorce proceedings and helped her to increase her claim for alimony. They were promptly disinherited. However, Thomas Beecham became engaged to a young American lady, Utica Wells, and moved into her family home in South Kensington. So for Beecham, life was full.
I was attempting at that time to become an operatic composer. The trouble with opera in English, where every word that is sung or said can be readily understood, is that our public, which has a lively sense of humor, never misses the opportunity for a laugh.
Nor did Sir Thomas. Once, when a distinguished operatic star kept complaining about his tempi, he asked her,
"How do you want it tonight, madam? Too fast or too slow?"
And again, after conducting a particularly rapid performance with Diaghilev's celebrated Russian ballet, he said to the orchestra,
"That made the little buggers hop."
Once, while rehearsing Messiah, he had occasion to criticize the Australian soprano, Thea Phillips.
My dear, what is the matter with you? I'd always understood that every English-speaking child babbled the music of Messiah in the cradle.
Miss Phillips assured the conductor that it would be all right at the concert. She'd been studying the score for months, she said, and she took it to bed with her every night.
Oh. Well, then I'm sure we'll have an immaculate conception.
In 1904, he traveled abroad. He had been married for only a year, but his marriage was already breaking up as Utica, his wife, with their son, insisted on staying in London with her parents.
During my travels, my mind turned more and more toward thoughts of conducting. After all, as I put it to myself at the time, nothing very disastrous could come of it. Why do we in England always engage at our concerts so many third-rate continental conductors when we have so many second-rate conductors of our own? My opening essay was given at the Bechstein Hall, renamed during the war, lest intending patrons should feel guilty of some treasonous alliance, the Wigmore Hall. My first sensation was one of disappointment with myself. Somehow I was not getting from my orchestra the sound, the tone, the general effect that I wanted. At one moment the brass would be excessive, at another inadequate, the woodwind strident or feeble, the strings feverish or flaccid. There was no balance between the component parts of the whole. Well, I thought, there could be very little doubt where the fault lay. The deputy system. Now, you take a case. A, whom you wanted, signed to play at your concert, but he sent B, whom you didn't mind, to the first rehearsal. B, without your knowledge or agreement, sent along C, a barely adequate musician, to the second rehearsal. However, not being free to play at the concert itself, he sent D, to whom you'd have paid 50 guineas to stay away.
Even with experienced orchestras, there were sometimes misunderstandings between Beecham and his musicians. Once, in the middle of a rehearsal, he shouted,
"Third horn, you're flat."
They played the section again.
"Third horn, you're still flat."
But, Sir Thomas, the third horn hasn't arrived yet.
Oh, well, when he does arrive, tell him he's flat.
At a rehearsal of La Bohème, he stopped an orchestra to speak to the tenor as he lay on the bed when Mimi is dying.
Mr. Nash, I can't hear you. Sing up.
But how do you expect me to sing my best in this position, Sir Thomas?
In that position, my dear fellow, I have performed some of my greatest achievements.
He enjoyed singing along with the orchestra.
I'm on my way to Paris, and my wife's going to stay at home. Bum-ba-dum, bum-ba-dum, bum-bum.
I remember Sir Thomas entering the Free Trade Hall in Manchester to rehearse the Halle on a bitter, foggy morning. He took off his glasses and he polished them with a large, immaculate white linen handkerchief. And then he tapped the desk with his stick.
Good morning, gentlemen and ladies. Now, where are we? Delius. Does anyone feel inclined on this salubrious Manchester morning to play In a Summer Garden of Delius? No? No. Thought not. So, let us pass on to Strauss's Till Eulenspiegel. Well, not in tonight's concert.
No.
It's very hard. I could have sworn it was. Oh, Don Quixote. Yes, well, I knew we had to play something by Strauss. Well, gentlemen, I'm sure I don't need to tell you anything about Strauss's Don Quixote. I certainly don't intend to this morning or any other morning. So, let us pass on to the next piece, which I believe is the Enigma Variations of Elgar. Pretty piece. Thousand pities that Elgar was lured into composing symphonies and oratorios. Well, I won't ask you to play the whole thing, but let us begin with number 6, the viola variations. And, gentlemen, if I seem to you to be lingering over much, just go ahead, take no notice of me. It's a lovely tune. Salon music, gentlemen. Salon music.